Good evening, everyone, and thank you all for coming to tonight's special presentations. Tonight, as a council, but more importantly, as a community, we recognize the life and legacy of one of America's most influential figures, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. The actions taken by Dr. King, along with all those activists involved with the American civil rights movement, stood for something bigger than themselves, possibly not thinking about the impact it has created more than 6 decades later. Dr. King's vision of justice, opportunity, and the ambition for a better future for all is cemented in the federal and local recognition of his life. Without the sacrifice he and so many others made during their lives, our culture and way of life would be inconceivable.
Thank you. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. has been a central figure in my life, but even so more importantly, in pursuit of a career. I've been a social worker before for Riverside County, and I've made it a point to always ensure that my career is something that I've chosen where I care for all people that have access to vital resources. I always believed in doing the right thing, not that it was always an easy choice, but it's important to make the right decisions when no one is looking. Dr. King's decision for nonviolent resistance seemed inadequate at the time, considering all the pain and harm being inflicted upon the masses, but his steadfast commitment of doing the right thing placed him on a pedestal we all continue to look up to this day. So, with that being said, someone that I think and very am proud of to have in our community that's always assisting our community and recognizing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy is Dr. Frida Carter, the interim president of Moreno Valley College. Hold on. Would you please come up here and join us? Okay. So, Dr. Carter, I would say you're a woman of few words, but I know you can talk.
Very few, please.
Would you mind saying a few words on behalf of the college?
Thank you all, first of all, for recognizing us. I think that if you just look at the room, you can see the growth over the last 60 years. From Dr. Martin Luther King's I Had a Dream speech to where we are today. To have a woman of color from the state of Alabama serving as a community college president in the state of California by itself is a tribute to the growth of this country. To have you and all of us in this room is a tribute to the growth of this country. So thank you on behalf of Moreno Valley College. We are here to serve our community. You all are always welcome and are always part of the Mountain Lion family. We are honored to be in the community, and I would like to invite each and every one of you out to the Martin Luther King Breakfast and Scholarship ceremony on Friday, which will be next door at the Moreno Valley Convention and Rec Center. We are honored and blessed to be a part of your community. If you ever need us, all you have to do is let us know. Thank you.
Step in just a little bit. There we go. A little bit right. And 1, 2, and 3. There we go. You guys look over real quick, little quick. 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. See Friday.
Great.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. This concludes our special presentations, and we'll open in regular City Council at 6 p.m. Good evening and welcome to the joint meeting of the City Council of the City of Moreno Valley. The City Council receives a separate stipend from the Community Services District if any CSD business is conducted at the meeting. I now call this meeting to order on January 21st, 2025 at 6 o'clock p.m. I invite Councilmember Delgado to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and I ask that you remain standing for the invocation given by Pastor Dave from Moreno Christian Assembly.
Please stand and join me by placing your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the
Thank you. Let us pray. Lord, we're so thankful as we begin a new year. We're thankful for your faithfulness and your provision over our city. And Lord, we pray that you will continue to work in our city as we grow and develop, as people become citizens of our fine city. Lord, I pray that we would be a city of character. We think about Martin Luther King and the emphasis on character as he lived his life. So, Lord, I pray that each council member would be a person of character, and each one on our staff and within our citizens, Lord, that we would live understanding that character matters, that we would live as a city that puts our trust in you and know, Lord, that you ordain our steps. So, Lord, I pray that you will bless the meeting tonight, each one present. Thank you for all those who serve. We think of those who especially serve as our firefighters and our community first responders, those in our military in our city as well. And we thank you for them and their sacrifice of service. We ask you to bless them and then have a blessing on each one of our citizens. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Dave. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Baca Santa Cruz. Councilmember Delgado.
Here, ma'am.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Here.
Councilmember Bernard.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Baca Santa Cruz.
Here.
And Mayor Cabrera is absent.
Motion to excuse Mayor Cabrera's absence from the January 21st, 2025 City Council meetings. I think I'm going to ask, right, and entertain a motion. Did we get a request to excuse his absence?
We did. Let me read this little blurb message
please.
out. Although we do not have a formal list of what constitute an excused absence for council members, we do have a list as to what constitute an excused absence for our commissioners, committee members, to which include illness, care of a family member, transportation difficulty, pre-scheduled appointments, job interview, employment issues, and/or general household matters. So
And did we receive the reason that he's out tonight?
it would be to one of the messages that I just
Perfect.
messaged.
So, entertain a motion,
I'll motion that we excuse Mayor Cabrera.
and I'll second that. So a voice vote, please.
Thank you. Councilmember Delgado,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilmember Bernard,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Baca Santa Cruz.
Yes.
Thank you.
Staff introductions, please.
Patty Rodriguez, City Clerk.
Paul Bradvica, Deputy City Clerk.
Stephen Quintanilla, City Attorney.
Brian Mohan, City Manager.
Lana Jimenez, Acting Assistant City Manager over Administration, Chief Financial Officer, City Treasurer.
Angelica Frostalupo, Community Development Director.
Melissa Walker, Director of Public Works.
Jeremy Bubnick, Director of Parks and Community Services.
Robert Cardenas, Human Resources Director.
Keith Kimmel, Acting Economic Development and Housing Director.
Sarah Mack, Chief of Police.
Diana Rocket Sykes, Division Manager, Emergency Management.
Thank you, Diana, for being here tonight. And the chief's absence, we know that the chief is out in Pacific Palisades fighting the fires, so please keep him in your thoughts and prayers as we, and all of our officers out there, so. Next item is approval of the order of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the order of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, voice vote, please.
Thank you. Councilmember Delgado,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilmember Bernard,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Boxana Cruz.
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on to public comments on matters not on the agenda. The city now offers language translation services through a free app called Wordly. The app automatically translates a variety of languages into English and vice versa. To use this service, please scan the QR code at the speaker sign-up table. For the visually impaired, please use your earphones or earbuds to listen to the verbal translation. If you do not have such listening devices, please let our city clerk know that you need to borrow one for the meeting.
La ciudad ahora ofrece servicios de traducción de idiomas a través de una aplicación gratuita llamada Wordly. Si gustan usar este servicio, avísele a la secretaria y entregue una tarjeta para hablar. Para usar la traducción, escanee el código QR que está en la mesa.
Before we move on to the public comments, I want to remind everyone to direct their comments to the council. For comments on items on tonight's agenda, each speaker will be given a total of 3 minutes to comment. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to comment on any items not on the agenda?
Yes, we do, Mayor.
Mayor Pro
The first,
Tem.
Mayor Pro Tem Boxana Cruz, we do. Thank you for that. The first 3 speakers are Fred Banuelos, followed by IG Influencer, followed by Taisha Morgan.
Perfect. Mr. Branuelos?
Hello, everyone. I understand we're going to have a sports park in the future, so I have a concern about that. Parking. The parking at our parks and schools is, well, the issue that we have is I drove by a local high school recently, and I'm seeing, I kid you not, probably like about 50 to 75 cars parking illegally in the bike lanes. That's a danger for the people that are riding bikes because they have to get out of the bike lanes and move into traffic. I hope that when we build these things, we think about parking, because I'm seeing it already when the kids have any sports things, events. We just don't have the parking. Sometimes we have that issue down at LaSalle Sports Park where people are parking in the red. So I'm really hoping that the powers that be, get that situation resolved and provide parking. I have a problem that we can fix that. Get some SB1 money and let's get some protected bike lanes. Get some delineators there. That way the cars can't park there. So if you're going to have bike lanes, that's a problem, a solution that I think that we can do. The other thing, I saw these white trucks driving around in our city. I'm like, what the heck are these white trucks? Is there something secret going on? I got to find out what's going on. And come to find out, they're animal control. So I don't know who does animal control here, but why aren't they marked is my question. And in my travels, I got to see Officer Hoffman, I believe. Where's my time at, you guys? I don't see my time. Oh, there it is. So we had a good conversation. She was already talking to somebody in the public about the truck, and it was really cool. I got to see the kennels. I saw that some of those trucks had some lifts, so if the animal's very heavy, it'll lift the animal inside there, and it was just really cool to see what they do. I think we have like 7 of those trucks in our city, and I'm just curious why they're not marked. I'd like to see them marked if we can. That way, be transparent. And I don't think that's something secret that's going on in our city where we got these trucks going around. I got to put my tin cap on or something like that. But yeah, that's it for tonight, guys. Thank you very much, and have a good night. Thanks.
Thank you. The next 3 speakers are IE Informer, followed by Taisha Morgan, followed by Riley Peak.
All right. Good evening, Council, Dias. You guys, I want to tell you guys are doing a fantastic job up there. Keep doing what you guys are doing, working together and doing all that. Fantastic staff, even though some of you guys are temporary, come and you go, but you guys are doing a great job. So getting a lot of information. And in Edgemont, everything is nice and cool and taken care of. So thank you, Elena Baca, for stuff that you do. You are greatly appreciated in the community, especially with a lot of my neighbors and stuff like that. Also, I want to talk about the animal shelter. If you guys are looking for an animal, please go to the animal shelter and adopt there. They are being overwhelmed with a lot of strays and animals and stuff. I'm doing my part. I've got 4 cats and 1 dog, okay? So I'm doing what I can do. So please go over there. But what brought me here tonight was basically, I have a question. How many ethics violations will we have to go through because of this mayor who does not know the political game? You do not join a company that is trying to do business with the city and trying to get contracts with the city without clearing it through legal. You've got experienced people up there on the dais. You could have asked them. You join a company you have no experience at, they bring you in as a salesman. How many people have sold Amway and got a 6-figure salary? I don't know anybody who starts off ground level floor getting a 6-figure salary at a job where they're basically a salesman. Now, did he do anything wrong criminally or anything like that? No, it's the ethics about it. He doesn't have the sense and the wherewithal to say, this doesn't look good. And if you're gonna take the job, great. Resign as mayor and you can take the job. It's perfectly fine, but you can't do both. And then you try to hide the information because a lot of you guys aren't aware of it. I wasn't aware of it. I broke the story the day before the press enterprise and people were like, what? Where did this come from? I was like, man, I'm trying to figure it out myself. How much embarrassment does Moreno Valley have to go through? When are you guys, the voters, gonna wake up and see that this person here, thank God he can't run for re-election in the next cycle, but we need to do a better job of vetting these candidates. Don't wanna be a downer, but I mean, it doesn't take a genius to play the political game. Those people hired him to get contracts. It's just that simple. Thank you.
Thank you. The next 3 speakers are Taisha Morgan, followed by Riley Peak, followed by Christopher Baca.
Hello, my name is Taisha Morgan. I am a resident of Moreno Valley. I am also a beginner farmer, if anybody's familiar with farming. So you're a beginner for 10 years. I just found that out. And I've been doing it for 2 years. I am also, when I'm not farming, a catastrophic insurance adjuster. So we just had a power outage in my area for 4 days. And I also have harvest stored. So I called the city council office to find out, hey, what are you guys gonna do about the people that's losing their food? What are you gonna do about the farmers that's losing their harvest? They didn't know. They said they'll call me back. They called me back and said the power is coming back on. We received an email from Edison and I said it's not back on, maybe in 92557 zip code, but in 92555, it is not on. I went 4 days with no power. My neighbor is on dialysis. She didn't have power. And when I asked about city planning, what are you guys doing? They said, well, honestly, we weren't prepared because we were under the impression that Santa Ana winds was over in September. Everybody knows it's global warming. I've lived in different areas and I've seen catastrophic things go on, and it sounds like to me, City Council and Edison is not sitting down and talking about this. My solution is that Edison rolls the power. They do it in other states, especially when it's freezing. They turn the power on maybe 2 to 3 hours when the winds are down in different areas. So what happened is so much power went on at the same time, and certain circuits went longer than others. We also have farmers that have livestock. After 3 days, they don't have any water, guys. They have backup generators, but the backup generator might not be enough for the house and the wells. So we have to think about people too, because we're local farmers. Like I have my CDC license. So when the people don't have food or they're going for food, we need the food for the community. So I left my email. I'll volunteer. We can bounce off ideas. I just want you guys to know, because you guys are the decision makers. Okay, that's all. So I expect somebody to get back with me. Let's try to come up with a solution. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
The next two speakers are Riley Peak, followed by Christopher Baca.
So, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Baca Santa Cruz, Councilmember Delgado, Councilmember Gonzalez, and Councilmember Bernard. To start off, where's your pink shirt? Supposed to be giving some joy. But I just want to congratulate the city on all these tech advancements that we're making, like using Wordly for our translation. It's just amazing seeing all of the inclusivity that our city is offering using technology. Translate to up to 25 languages and snap of a finger. It's amazing seeing it on the TV and word for word. It's just amazing seeing how much we're advancing throughout the years. We've definitely improved a lot of our systems, especially with our public safety power shutoff grid search. That was an amazing tool. Be able to find out what circuit you're on, and then go back and look at whenever the city posted things on the Instagram when the circuits are going out. That was just amazing. Thank you to all the team for everything that you do. A lot of it goes unnoticed. You're kind of behind the scenes people, but I and hopefully many other people do appreciate all the work that you do for our city. And just, it's great to see some all this improvement in our city, and I look forward to the next couple years of improvement. Thank you.
The next speaker is Christopher Baca.
Good evening, community staff and elected officials. Again, my name's Chris, and my comments are my own and not influenced by anybody other than myself. On November 14th, Dr. Benzivi, the man behind one of the most significant cases of corruption in California, was sentenced to millions of dollars. Basically, oh, by the way, this is our famous Mr. Ito Benzivi's brother, our great developer here in Moreno Valley. So his brother, basically what they did, he got elected into the hospital, which because of his doings went into bankruptcy and destroyed a community. And mind you, this is a brother of, you know, our famous person here in our city who knows, we all know what he's up to, but regardless, he, basically one of the things he did was outsource a lot of the MRI equipment, and then that equipment was sold, and those checks went directly into his personal account and his wife into his wife's personal account. That would be Ito's sister-in-law. So anyhow, why is this important? It's very important. Please, anybody that's listening, and please pass it on. Please Google Benny Benzivi, Tulare Vasilia Healthcare corruption. And this is it's a mirror image of what's going on here in this city. Can't anybody see what Highland Fairview is doing to our city and what they're trying to do? It's obvious. I mean, look at Alessandro. It was part of the agreement that he was going to, you know, do Alessandro and all of this. Now, suddenly it goes back to the city. So now, is the city going to build? That's what he wants, is the city to put in the road for his upcoming, supposedly, which will never happen, with warehouses. But I hope the city and you elected officials especially know what this is all about. It's very disgusting what some of the actions that this organization does to our community. Is destroying our community, and it's destroying our tax base, and it's destroying the well-being of our community with their tactics, their awful tactics. What they've done to me, what they've done to a lot of people, the minions. We have one here that's infiltrated the county supervisor. Oh, and we have Benzivi running the RSA, Riverside Sheriffs. Come on, that's a bunch of bull. Somebody needs to do something about this, and I think it needs to go directly to the FBI and see what all this BS is about.
Mayor Pro Tem, that concludes all of public comments not on items on the agenda.
Thank you. We're now going to move on to our joint consent calendars. Section I. Before I open the consent calendar for public comment, I ask my fellow council members if there's any items that they wish to remove from consent calendar for separate action. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, are there any requests to comment on any items on the consent calendar?
No, there are no public comment speakers for this item.
Sorry, I gotta catch up on this. So we didn't pull any, so then we just move on to the consent calendar. So then, do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
I'll second that.
Great. Madam Clerk, please call a voice vote.
Councilmember Delgado,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilmember Bernard,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Baca Santa Cruz.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now moving on to item J, public hearings. Question or comments from the public on a public hearing matter are limited to 3 minutes per individual and must pertain to the subject under consideration. Those wishing to testify should complete and submit a goldenrod speaker slip to the city clerk. For item J1, there will be a staff report by Public Works. Please have the staff report.
All right. Good evening, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem and council members. The item before you this evening for consideration is the temporary closure of Davis Road between Alessandro Boulevard and the terminus of Davis Road for the right-of-way access. Davis Road is an unimproved dirt road primarily used for utility access. The area has become a hot spot for illegal dumping, loitering, and other illegal activities. The road closure will help to mitigate the public nuisance activity. The city will close the road by adding an additional highly visible reflective pipe gate equipped with a multi-lock system that will allow restricted access to emergency services and the adjacent property owners. The road closure will be in effect for 18 months and may be extended for up to 8 consecutive 18-month periods per the California Vehicle Code. That concludes my report, and I would be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any council questions of staff?
I have one. Melissa, so the main idea of this is to prevent illegal dumping, prevent people from going on that area illegally, dumping stuff, and then doing possibly illegal activity?
Correct. And it was requested by the property owners.
Thank you.
Same question?
Yeah.
Same question I had. So I now open the public hearing. I invite any public speakers if desired. City Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, we do not have any request to speak.
Oh, okay. I now close the public hearing. I will, is there any council deliberation? I think we're all in agreement that public nuisance is a reason. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the public hearing item.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
Just for the record, Melissa Walker, the Public Works Director, would like to read in what the property owners are and who they are for the record.
Absolutely.
So the property owners are, for the majority of the property owners to the south of Alessandro Road are the State of California and the State of California Department of Fish and Wildlife Conservancy. They want the road closed due to larger and greater conservation area of Mystic Lake being one of the most diverse populations of birds in the United States.
Can I make a question, or is it?
What was that?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Has this ever been done in the past before by these property owners, or is this the first time?
Yeah, no, the portion that is now gated off, that was previously done, except for we actually gave the road back. So this is a temporary measure while we're working on the long-term solution of what to do with the road. So this is just sort of a temporary measure.
Thank you.
Any more questions, deliberations? Okay. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion.
So moved?
Second that.
Madam Clerk, voice vote, please.
Thank you. Councilmember Delgado,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez,
Yes.
Councilmember Bernard,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Baca Santa Cruz.
Yes.
Thank you.
And for the record, this is the resolution number 2025-XX, a resolution of the City of Moreno Valley for the temporary closure of Davis Road for right-of-way access located on Davis Road between Alexandro Boulevard and the terminus of Davis Road, approximately 3,785 feet south of Alexandro Boulevard.
Thank you. Moving on quickly in the agenda, we're now at general business. Public comment on general business items shall be limited to 3 minutes per speaker and must pertain to the subject matter under consideration. Those wishing to testify are encouraged to complete a blue speaker slip to the city clerk's staff. A staff report first by Parks and Community Services.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. We have the artist here who will be giving the presentation.
Good evening, and thank you for having me back. It's good to see you again. My name is Chris Papour. I'm a visual artist, filmmaker, and also musician. I'm originally based in Richmond, Virginia, but I live in LA currently. And this is for my mural project at El Potrero Park. Just a brief background. I led the Youth Cinema Project as a mentor in an after-school program teaching kids how to make public service announcements. And this project would be more than just a mural. It would also be a community engagement, educational experience that kids can interact with the mural itself and learn about conservation and the local flora and fauna of Moreno Valley. So here's the project description. You can see that it includes imagery of soccer and football to resonate with the local community's passion for sports and youth wellness. It's incorporating, if you can see on the sides there, you can see the native flora and fauna of Moreno Valley, and I'll go into detail later. And some of the inspiration came from local landmarks and cultural symbols of Moreno Valley. So this is the project details, and the funding request is $20,000, and this is not just for the mural, it's for a video of the creation of the mural, and then this 2-day event that would involve activity books and learning about the native flora and fauna of the city for children. Here's just a little breakdown you can see. There's just the materials, the workshop, and preparation. So here's the front view. It's at El Potrero Park. It's 180 square feet in the front. Let's see. Here's the side, which is featuring the animals and plants. You can see there's elderberry, deer, sunflower, and also petroglyphs, which are rock carvings. And here's the other side. You can see there's some more, there's a lizard that is located or local to the area. There's a bobcat. The M from Box Springs Mountain, you can see there. It's kind of like a scavenger hunt when you can actually look at the mural itself. And I wanted to make it interactive and not just a random piece of art. But so here's a brief breakdown of the schedule. It's definitely flexible with how it's going to be done. I hope to get it done faster if it's approved as well. Here's a little more inspiration there. You can see where some of the design concepts came from. And this is the part that I'm really excited about, is the community engagement piece. I'm looking to work with my coordinator, Karen Weiss, who works for the city of Santa Monica at the Police Activities League. She is a coordinator there, working with children. I have experience working and teaching children as well. And her role would be to connect the city communications and marketing to amplify the workshop reach, to actually be conducting the activities, which would take place on the weekend, on Saturday and Sunday, and to strengthen the positive impact of the mural itself so people can actually come. And we would be reaching out to local schools nearby and activity groups for children. So like I said, there's a workshop that would be interacting with the mural. And I have more plans than just on the PowerPoint as well. Let's see. So overall, the goal is to blend the artistic expression, athletics, and nature in the park setting to make it a more interactive and educational environment, and also just aesthetically pleasing mural experience. And that's about it. So thank you guys for your attention, and I look forward to speaking with you. I can answer any questions you may have as well.
Do you have any questions for? Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for that presentation, and
thank you.
The art looks great. A couple things. The QR code, how long will that be interactive? Like, is it a one, you set it up and then it's interactive forever, or do we have to recharge it, or how does that work?
Oh, actually, it was more of like that's a good idea. Actually, I didn't even think. I wasn't saying there would be a QR code. It was more so that
the interactive was.
I wanted to create a event that would, like, kids can come to the event and learn about the native flora and fauna of Moreno Valley. That's on the actual mural, and there would be educational sessions and also activity books that, like coloring books, that will feature more information about the plants and animals. But I think implementing a QR code would be a really good idea also.
I think I misunderstood the original.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense though.
And now you're on it.
Yeah, I think that's a
have your
good
marching
idea.
orders. The second thing was, thank you for that. Can you put, there's an elephant. I know where that elephant is. It's off the 60 freeway because it's our region, but possibly a donkey to, you had a lot of symbolism for Moreno Valley, and which is the region and whatnot, but there's no donkey on there, so.
Okay. Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Any more questions? What about the interactive children's activity, the workshop? Can you describe that, what you envision that workshop to be?
Yeah. It would be a 2-day event that would, I have the actual specifics of my idea for like how long it would be. I was thinking 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday, where kids can come, they can witness the mural in its completion, and there can be different like tables that they can sit at and kind of cycle through different parts. Like I had a concept for one station where they can paint petroglyphs and learn about them as well because they're featured on the mural itself. We would be giving them an activity book that features information on the flora and fauna of Moreno Valley, and they can fill it out as well. And then Karen Weiss was the coordinator that would be like actually teaching them and giving them kind of more of the educational piece to it. And I do have an experience teaching, but I like to stick more to the art side of things, but she's very qualified for that. So, but I can also send any more specifics about it, or any like specific questions you have.
We're going to hear from public speakers, and then if we have any more questions, we'll invite you back up.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Madam Clerk, are there any public testimony speakers?
Yes, we have one right now. His name is Riley Peak.
Okay, we'll invite him up.
So, hello everyone. That went by pretty quick. So I just want to start off by saying I'm excited to see some more public art being brought up to council, but with this specific applicant and the specific mural, I just had some concerns regarding the transparency and potential originality of the art piece. So first, the website listed on the application is currently unavailable according to ICANN records. And in case you didn't know, ICANN is the kind of like the city council of the internet. So they're in charge of if website will be shown or not. And I tried checking and it was not available. So it would be nice to see some more of the previous work that was listed on the website. And then second, upon my review, I found that 86% of this applicant's submission was generated using artificial intelligence. So, and while only 14% of it being human generated, I just think that while AI is a tool for inspiration, the public art should primarily reflect human creativity and the authentic connection to the community that this mural would serve. So I just urge the council to ensure that all aspects of this application, the portfolio or the originality of the work, and just the overall application is reviewed before moving forward. And technology is a wonderful thing. I'm not saying that it's not. It should be used throughout the world. But it's important to focus on the human aspects when it comes to spending $20,000 on this mural. So I believe that this project has the potential to represent the identity and the spirit of Moreno Valley. But I just feel that it is vital that we uphold the highest standards of authenticity and creativity when we're working on something that will be here forever, hopefully. So thank you.
Our next speaker is Roy Blecker.
More audience coming to hear me speak.
They follow you around.
Yes, my groupies. I want to know what happened to my application since we spent 250 grand worth of these murals of running political ads, I believe. Tell me that when you have BLM and political statements on our library. Again, you want to know why nobody comes to these ad hoc committees and subcommittee meetings that you schedule more of them, make more of them? Because what do? You scheduled the Utility Commission against the Arts Commission, and when I showed up to give my proposal, they shut the meeting down. Because I'm over at the Utility Commission or this. How do you be in two places at one time? Again, you guys could not organize a frickin' popsicle stand, much less run a city. Prove me wrong. I will give you every opportunity to come and sit next to me and prove me wrong on this. Every one of you. Have enough guts to come in and defend your actions. First, this whole thing was sold to us, and this is my original point. Oh, we're going to get the kids involved, we're going to get the schools, and we're going to do this as projects. Where is it? 250, 270. Well, when we're all out of money, we might buy them a box of crayons. Every other, I was at Val Verde. They're doing it with the schools and on the schools with the kids. But not this place. No. We all know where the money's going, or most of it. Pete said it. Got a big reaction out of the staff. Prove me wrong. Sit beside me and prove me wrong. Y'all know what's going on here. You ain't got guts enough to say what's going on here. This place was started, the city was started on a lie. 40 years later, we're still living it. And we will never, ever, ever get out of this cycle until we tell the truth. We just suffered a 4-year nightmare. You notice that this is day 2. You notice how there's a calm? There's a caring, there's a confidence just from 2 days. Because people are optimistic because they know when they put their head on the pillow, they know their government's not trying to screw them. Maybe at least at the federal level right now. Maybe we should get to that point in Moreno Valley.
That completes all of public speakers for this item.
Okay, then we'll move on to council deliberations. I open the dais for deliberation.
I'll start. So, obviously, we put the arts on hold. I think we asked him to pause and then come back, and here we are, several months later, with this project being presented. We had, in the meantime, we've had a lot of public comments regarding the arts in the city, and we hear you guys loud and clear. And we heard you loud and clear. That's why we took the pause. And then reflecting during the pause, we look at every project on its merit, and then we look at the benefit it would bring to the community. And I have 3 in my district. I have 3 murals in my district alone. And I've had nothing but positive comments about the murals on the bathrooms. And it was a tapestry for graffiti before the murals got there, and now it's not. And I think the folks that are in the city that would have maybe tagged it or put graffiti on it have a little bit of respect for it now, and they don't. So I appreciate the 3 in my district. The fact that the artist is not from Moreno Valley is a little concerning. However, that's what we did initially. We put it out there for all artists to come and bid on these projects. So here we are. I think that we don't want to take away from the city of Moreno Valley, but we are now in a position where we can utilize his talents or their talents, him and his peer, for the benefit of Moreno Valley and the constituents or the residents of Moreno Valley. So I like it. Again, I would recommend or suggest a donkey because it does represent a lot of Moreno Valley, especially up towards the hills in my district. So, but just for the public's knowledge, we hear you loud and clear regarding the cost, the pricing of these. I think this is the last one that has that have not been finalized and has not been cleared up, and then we're moving on maybe to other things in the city besides murals. So I like it. I like this particular one, and I'm looking forward to seeing it if it gets approved.
So I would like to thank you for coming back. As Councilmember Delgado said, I believe we put the pause on it almost a year ago in March. So we've had ample time to kind of have some discussions, and we, as he said, we've heard the public loud and clear about the murals. I personally, this is my district. This park, I've looked at the design. I love the design then. I love the design now. I hear Councilmember Delgado loud and clear when he says he wants the donkeys there. There are no donkeys in District 4. But I also understand. This park in particular, all of the elements that are incorporated in it from, this is a soccer field, a football field, there's a preschool nearby, there's ample of things nearby. And like he said, the issue with graffiti, the bathrooms getting hit in this area, things like that, I think this will deter it. It's also adding life and color, and I can see it on the backdrop because I know exactly where this bathroom is on the backdrop, right against the mountain, and you can almost see it from LaSalle Park. So I thank you for coming back. I thank you for having patience with us as we tried to work through this as a joint city council, trying to figure out what we can do. And I know that we have had discussions about making sure that some part of it, children are included in this. And the fact that you've included that component of reaching out and having the children included, while it's not the school, my child did participate in the mural that was drawn at his school at the preschool because that's what they did because it was during the day. The fact that it'll be done on Saturday and Sunday makes it available for not just one of my children, but both of my children to be able to do it, and for families to be able to take their kids at different times to do it because there's a wide range of hours. So I thank you for having patience, for coming back, and I love this project personally. Thank you.
I just want to make a brief comments. I'm very familiar with this park. My children played soccer there in the past, in years past, but it definitely the art it embodies the flora, the fauna of Moreno Valley. I do agree with the echo of the burro, right? That it should be, the donkey should be there somewhere. But it is, you know, the bobcat, the rabbit. You see the rabbit there. They are a part, the lizard, right? I have in my backyard, so they're part of Moreno Valley, and it's a great addition to the park, and it blends well with the scenery. So it is that kaleidoscope. So that's all I want to say.
Okay, so my comments are, this art project, I know we put on hold during, last year that we talked about, but I'm looking at the projects that we did approve through the same funding, and I really want to make sure that we have equity. As Councilmember Delgado said, there's 3 projects in his district. I'm looking at the map. There's 4 projects in District 1, there's 3 in District 3, and only 1 in District 4. So it's obvious that there's inequity. So this project would bring some art throughout the city. And I understand some of the comments about AI, but I'm reminded of the quote, I want AI to do my laundry and dishes so I can do my art and writing, not AI to do my art and writing so that I can do my laundry and dishes, and that the artist used AI to do some writing to get this grant. I don't fault him on that. I would certainly see that as a good use of AI, as we're using AI here in our chambers to translate. So I'm not concerned about that. The cost, it's equal to the other projects that we approved throughout the city. And like I said, I really want to make sure that we are serving our community equally, that the projects that we approved in District 2 match the ones in District 4, the same as 1 and 3, that it's, throughout the city, that this would balance it out. But I assume that the Arts Commission, this has already gone through, that looking forward, they would be looking at projects for the new museum, bringing, I'm asking that they look at interactive projects that would bring the community together and have some tangible art to go home. But this project is in response to our request to do projects in the community, to take in our community's heritage, to bring, I do think that you should replace the elephant with a donkey. I don't even think that it's, the old Rusty is an elephant up there, right?
I think it's a mammoth.
Yeah, I think that's a mammoth, so maybe a mammoth, but even that's Riverside, I think, and I know there's no donkeys in District 4, but they are in District 1, and I think they should stay in District 2. I was the one that pulled it. I was against it, and like I said back in March, I wasn't against your project or your art or your, but I just thought that we should, and we've done that. What I've asked for has done. We've moved towards the museum, and so for this project to finish up that public art program, I am in support of that. So those are my comments. So since we've all had a chance to speak, I'll entertain a motion by council. District 4?
I make a motion to approve staff's recommendation.
I'll second that motion.
Madam Clerk, voice vote, please.
Thank you. Councilmember Delgado?
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Yes.
Councilmember Bernard?
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Baca Santa Cruz?
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll now move on to the Regional Commission Committee Board reports.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, sir.
For clarity of staff, can we just have the motion stipulate as to whether or not it's a donkey? That a donkey must be in Because they accepted staff's recommendation as part of the motion, so I just need that motion changed.
I accept staff's recommendation with the amendment that the mammoth be changed to a donkey per Councilmember Delgado's request.
Is that on the record?
Yes, that is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we'll move on to the Regional Commission Committee Board reports. Reporting for the March Joint Powers Commission, Councilmember Delgado.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Tonight I'm providing an update from the March Joint Powers Commission meeting that was held on Wednesday, January 8th. We received a presentation from Deputy Director Operations Daniel Bates of the Riverside County Emergency Management Department regarding the department's functions, priorities, and resources. We approved $6,195,000 towards the Cactus Channel Project and authorized the Chief Executive Officer of the March Joint Powers Authority to finalize the Cactus Channel Cooperative Funding Agreement between the March Joint Powers Authority and the Riverside County Flood Control and Water Conservation District and execute the agreement on behalf of the March JPA. The Cactus Channel runs along the north side of a March Air Reserve base from Heacock Street west to Interstate 215. Finally, we received a presentation from the Chief Executive Officer of the March Joint Powers Authority regarding the March Joint Powers Authority 2024 year-end review and 2025 goals. And that concludes my update on the last March Joint Powers Commission meeting that was held on Wednesday, January 8th.
Now the Riverside County Habitat Conservation Agency Board of Directors, Councilmember Bernard.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. At the RCHC Board of Directors meeting on December 12th, the reports for financial contracts and grants, Stevens Kangaroo Rat fee collections, and reserve management and monitoring efforts, reserve management for the Southwestern County Multi-Species Lake Matthews Reserves, Reserve Management Coordinating Committee, Steffens Kangaroo Rat recovery efforts were received and filed, and yes, that was all one phrase. Additionally, staff recommendations were approved for the following: schedule of Board of Directors meetings for 2025, election of leadership for the calendar year of 2025, Calico Road Widening and Safety Enhancement Project Section 4F, proposed D- use for Lake Matthews Estelle Mountain Core Reserve. The board meeting ended when one board member present had to leave the meeting. The remaining items on the agenda are the Educational Outreach Program Activities Update and RCHCA Board of Directors voting bylaws, which were tabled for the next RCHCA Board of Directors meeting due to an unforeseen lack of quorum. The next meeting for the Board of Directors is scheduled for February 13th, 2025 at 11:30 a.m. At WRCOG on University Avenue, Suite 200 in Riverside.
Next is the Riverside County Transportation Commission, which is Mayor Cabrera, so I'll read that one. Tonight, I'm providing updates from the Riverside County Transportation Commission meeting held on January 8th. The commission approved the Active Transportation Program Cycle 7 list of recommended projects and contingency list in Riverside County for Metropolitan Planning Organization adoption in the amount of $4,437,000. The commission heard a presentation on the 1591 Express Lane Connector before and after study. That concludes my report on the last Riverside County Transportation Commission. The next report is the Riverside Transit Agency Board of Directors. Councilmember Bernard.
Thank you. So tonight, I'm also providing updates on the RTA Board Administration Operations Committee meeting held on January 8th. The committee approved the proposed 2025 to 2026 federal and state legislative program, and that concludes my report on the last RTA Board Administration and Operations Committee meeting.
Next is the Riverside County Regional Conservation Agency Board of Directors for Mayor Cabrera, and it will be presented by Councilmember Gonzalez.
At the RCA Board of Directors meeting on January 6, 2025, reports for the Western Riverside County MHCCP fee collection, JPR status, acquisition status, monthly investment, and the state and federal legislative update were received and filed. Additionally, resolution number 2025-001 relating to the revised investment policy was approved. Staff writer presentation of the Western Riverside County MHCCP 2023 annual report highlights, which included acquisitions of 1,508 acres acquired in 2023, Ratification of chair's appointment of the executive committee members, Chuck Washington and Crystal Ruiz. Additionally, the RCA board selected the cities of Beaumont and City of Hemet as executive committee members. Finally, there was a presentation on the reserve of the month. Wilson Creek Reserve, approximately 987 acres located in the southeastern part of the plan area, a county-funded acquisition. Next meeting is on February 3rd, 2025 at 12:30 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda are employee association reports. There are no employee associations present to give the reports. Next item is the city manager's report. City manager.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem and council members. Just a few items tonight. There were two speakers that alluded to the Southern California Edison and the public safety power shutoff events that are occurring, and with the horrific devastation that occurred to our jurisdictions to the west, and the heightened media that the public safety power shutoff events that are getting called into notice a little bit more. Just wanted to let everybody know that, as one of the speakers mentioned, because of lack of communication from SCE to their residents or to their customers, and their customers not knowing specifically if they're part of a high fire area circuit and whether or not it would be potentially shut off in a wind event, pursuant to California Public Utilities Commission, which regulates public utilities and allows this to occur. The city does not have any say-so in this particular realm, but one thing that our GIS department did do is they reached out to Southern California Edison, identified the circuit names and the locations of those that pertain to our residents within our jurisdiction. They also then developed a solution that allows residents to go to a website, type in their address, and show what circuit they may be on if they're part of a high fire area circuit. Then the resident now knows what their circuit name is and what to be looking for. Unfortunately, because SCE might not be sending communication directly to the residents, we do receive information as to what circuits are being affected in our jurisdiction from SCE as part of governmental affairs. And so we are, our media team is now pushing that information out as a weather event is occurring. So just wanted to let everybody know that that is occurring, and thank council for their guidance, their direction, and their support in providing this information to your constituents and our residents. There are a few events coming up. One of them is Hike to the Top this Saturday at 7:30 a.m. If you would like to go out for a hike, this one is of an easy category. It's a hike to Hidden Springs. It's approximately 4.8 miles, and that is occurring this Saturday. We also have two events coming up, January 29th and February 19th. These are Veterans Garden Workshops, in which veterans are able to attend two-session workshops with the UC Master Gardeners of Riverside County. Those are the ones that we collaborate with for our garden here at the CRC. The other item is we actually won a total of 20 awards, but the media and communications team have won 11 awards from the National Association of Telecommunication Officers and Advisors, or what is called NATOA, and 9 awards from the state of California and Nevada chapters of NATOA. And these range in overall excellence in government programming, to specific events, to specific initiatives that we have for arts and entertainment and so forth. So a press release will be going out shortly, but just wanted to congratulate our media and communications team. With that, I just want to wish everybody a rest of January, good January, and in in February, we do have some events coming up that I will mention at the February 4th, but we do have our first Beautify and free dump day coming up. And that's it.
Thank you very much. Now we'll move on to our final item, City Council closing comments, starting with Councilmember Delgado.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Today I took a tour of RUHS, and I told them that I would mention to you guys how awesome that place is. The RUHS is really, really taking care of its community, and I say its community by being the city of Moreno Valley. They have a flow, and she says that this is the new F word going through the hospital, and it's called flow, and they have a new flow system that gets the patients in and out, obviously safely. So I know you guys are scheduled to tour that as well, and it is amazing. And I told them I was going to come tonight and brag on them because they are doing good things. They literally have like 4 or 5 different entities between behavioral health, security, the cardiac. It's a trauma center. They make all of that work in sync. Their emergency department has 44 beds. And they try to get those folks in and out, and it's pretty amazing. So I was impressed. So just to let you know, for those of you in the public and here, that the folks at RUHS are doing an amazing job taking care of us here in the city of Moreno Valley and at the outskirts of Moreno Valley. I want to thank our firefighters and law enforcement for their commitment to our safety. Like one of the speakers said, and our city manager just mentioned it, we were inconvenienced by the power shutoff. Now, I know that someone came up and talked about food. We were very close to throwing some of our stuff out as well. But that's nothing compared to some of the folks that lost everything. So I call it, for us, we had to go get a generator, we plug it in, now we don't want to lose our food or whatever. For me, that's an inconvenience. And then once the power comes back on, we're back to normal. Some of the folks in Pacific Palisades and the Eaton Fire are not so fortunate to be inconvenienced. So I'm not saying that I like the power being shut off, but I tell you what, when it came back on, we were business as normal. Those folks don't have that opportunity. So I feel blessed. In addition to the firefighters doing what they do, when we lost power, our signal light around the corner from us was flashing red. I don't know how it was, but it was. And there was a Moreno Valley unit, the Riverside Sheriff's Office, parked right there to make sure that the commuters were safe. And I was extremely impressed. So once that occurred, not only was the city in action, our firefighters were in action on standby, and our police department was physically in action, making sure that we were all safe. So I was very impressed on how we all came together. And yes, the SCE communication was lacking a little bit at the very beginning, and they got a lot better once you guys stepped in. So for us, it was an inconvenience. For some, not so much. So I would like to highlight one of our community members that passed away, Joseph Joey Avila. He was 32 years old. He went in Moreno Valley. He lived in Moreno Valley, as I was. He lived in Moreno Valley for 32 years. He graduated from Canyon Springs High School. He went to the Marines to serve our country in 2007. He went to RCC, graduated from Cal Baptist. He deployed twice from the March Air Reserve Base. He was stationed at 29 Palms, and he was he loved Moreno Valley, and he has since passed far too early. But I just wanted to highlight him tonight because he did serve our country. He served our community, and we're going to miss him. And hopefully his family is okay, and we send our thoughts and prayers and condolences to his family. And finally, I know I always say this, and I challenge everybody to be kind to one another, put a smile on someone's face, and we really do not know what people are going through when you talk to them. So if you can put a smile on someone's face, try to do it. Right, Jeremy Bubnick? There it is. See? I did it. I succeeded. What? Jeremy's a challenge, but we got you. So, and Riley, I will wear pink. I did not make a note of that last time, but I made a note of it this time. I will wear pink next meeting. So, thank you very much. Have a great week.
Thank you so much. Councilmember Gonzalez?
Thank you. A few comments. Just want to say I kind of echo Councilmember Delgado's comments regarding the events that transpired the last few days regarding the wind and everything that happened to families over there in Palisades and Eaton. Definitely there was a lot of inconvenience out in District 3 and other parts of the city. But I think as the days went by and the communication from Edison, the city, and our other partners got better, it definitely improved. The signal light on Alessandra Nason was also on, Myrna Beach was flashing for a few days, but we got ahead of that. So, and also all the, brave firefighters and emergency responders out in those areas. Shout outs to them, and Mr. Park, who's out there as well. I attended the 7-Eleven grand opening in District 2. It was a beautiful facility. It had every modern component that a 7-Eleven should have there on the corner of Hemlock and Heacock on the northeast corner in the district. And we had a great turnout. It was last Friday morning, around 11, and Councilmember Delgado was there, and the mayor as well. So staff, and it was a great event. And also, I drove by it on, and it has a big Slurpee on the roof, on the canopy. I drove by it on Saturday. Was it Saturday night after In-N-Out, I think? And they had Cars and Coffee. If you guys are familiar with the group, they had a big car event there. So it was full of cars, and it was a lot of happening there. What else here? I attended my first library commission meeting, and I just want to mention one of the events they're highlighting. Just give me a minute here. It was brought to you by Library Commissioner Tasha Hilliard. She requested that we share the invitation to the Soul Fest celebration taking place on Saturday, January 25th. It's from 9 to 1 p.m. at Myrna Valley High School, and it's to kick off Black History Month. So hopefully we can all attend, or if you're available on that day. And lastly, just want to make a proposal. Hopefully, speaking of donkeys, I want to propose that the wild burro be officially recognized as the mascot and living symbol of Myrna Valley. It represents our unique heritage, our environment, and community spirit. Bernie the burro, right? He serves as the mascot for our parks and community services. But I think this designation would celebrate the wild burro as an integral part of our city's identity and its commitment to preserving its legacy for future generations. For example, it will align our departments, city events, community initiatives under a unifying symbol, and reinforcing that civic pride and identity. And we could create opportunities for educational campaigns, conservation efforts, and public events surrounding the burro. So I think we do a lot of things regarding the donkey and the burro, but I think it will kind of just bring everything together. So that's my motion, and hopefully there's a second.
I feel like we have the Historical Society working on the flag, and if you took it to them, they could incorporate it, because that's what they were working on, is to develop that history.
And then we have a mascot. He's a donkey.
Yeah, so that we can incorporate the two to make sure that we're not. So we have the Historical Society, the invite.
Better to go like through
them,
through
and then have them, have them look at it and see how they can
Are you
incorporate
okay
it
with
within.
that?
No, I'm okay with that. I'll reach out to the Historical Society then, or they're already working on
Well,
it.
I'm the liaison on
Oh,
that.
I see.
Yeah,
Oh, I
but
see.
come to the
But
meeting.
you can come to the meeting since, at least two of us doesn't make a quorum. So
Yeah.
I would invite you to the next meeting if we can we'll get you an invitation. We've had people come and, come and speak. And they just finished their work plan, so I think it's a great idea for them, moving forward, but, yeah. Okay. Councilmember Bernard.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay. I hope I don't need my computer because Paul, it just restarted. So first, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I'll start with the fires and the resident that came forward and talked about the lights being off and the electricity being off for 4 days. I understand, as I know the city of Paris was going through the same thing. So I do thank the city and Edison for working together. I do think, and I have said this is a bigger conversation for not just the residents of Moreno Valley and the city of Moreno Valley and Edison, but also I think it's a conversation region-wide that needs to be had, and a conversation needs to be had that we probably should be involving also the county supervisors and our neighbors to see as a collective what can happen, because although I am aware that they were trying to keep the, from the high winds, making sure that we don't have a firing event, and while I'm thankful for that, it's still really rough to be without power for that many days. It was pretty cold at night, and I know a number of people who had no power throughout the entire day, and also as a working parent or just anyone, sometimes you don't just have the money laying around for a generator. So even if there was something, if they knew they were going to cut the power, and at least be able to come forward and say, well, we may have the power cut for an extended amount of time. Here is something to help offset the cost of a generator or something like that. So I just want to tell you, I acknowledge what you said, and I understand and hear the concerns. I also, like everyone else, want to give a shout out to Chief Parks. We have Chief Parks out there, as well as 3 of our units are out there. So hopefully everything is calming down and we can have everyone home and to their families within the next few weeks. And hopefully we can have these Santa Anas die down. I also toured RUHS last week before you, while you're bragging. It is very nice. Their state-of-the-art area that they just built, their surgery area, which is also number one, like a lot of their clinics are there. They have their express medicine clinic, and the way they've triaged it. And I know when people hear the county hospital, they think you're going to be backed up, you're not going to be able to get in and out. They have really gone above and beyond to make sure that everything is moving efficiently. To the point where I'm pretty sure for a lot of people, I won't say any other popular hospital's name, not in the city. Let me preface it like that, not in our city, that other people go to that I have heard for hours and hours of waits. And RUHS has gotten their system down to, they're literally people where their whole job is to make sure everything is flowing. Who do we call if it's time for a discharge? They even came up with an area where they know if it's time for you to be discharged, an area that they can put you in if all you're waiting for is medication, so that they can free up that bed. So I want to put it out there when everyone's thinking, do we want to go to the county? Should we go to the county? You should. Even to the point where they are helping you find, if you need a ride to get from point A to point B, let's see that's what's holding you there, they will help you find a ride. Whether it's them, an Uber, they even help with wraparound services for homelessness, mental health concerns. So please, please, please use that hospital as a resource. They've worked really hard at that hospital, bringing it down. So thank you, Councilmember Delgado, for going, and I hope the rest of you get to tour it soon. And also, I, just like everybody else, would like to invite you all out to our, as Brian said, our day of service for Beautify MoVal on February 8th. Please sign up. It's always a lot of fun. Hopefully it's not cold. I don't know. I'm concerned. I would love it to be 70 degrees, but it's going to be okay either way. And with that, I will just close with a quote from Fannie Lou Hamer as we get ready to transition into Black History Month. You can pray until you faint, but unless you get up and try to do something, God is not going to put it in your lap. And so with that, everyone have a good evening, good night, and thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to start off by thanking our chiefs, police, and fire. I know it's hard. I know you've been doing a lot of work this week, especially, with Chief Park out in Palisades. I know it's a lot of us have family. Even I don't know anybody that doesn't know somebody in Altadena that has Palisades that has completely lost everything. I know of one family that I've known for 20 years, and they have nothing. So, I understand that our power outages were concerning, and I want to remind our residents that you can call 211 if you need ice to keep your food cool. County services are out there, and they will provide the ice for your food. We've opened up our warming stations, warming centers. The mall is one of the places that you can go in the evening to be warm, but it's much better for us to be inconvenienced than to be homeless. Yes, basically homeless. So hats off to police and fire right now. I know it's an extraordinary amount of work at this moment. So thank you for keeping us safe. Kudos to our media and communication. 20 awards, I don't know out of how many, but I imagine it was 21 because they are top notch, and it's no reason that they shouldn't win them all. So kudos go to you. I did not attend the RUHS tour. I've been sick the last couple of days. Today's my first meeting in a few days, so it's going around. Please stay safe. I also want to invite everybody to the Day of Service. That is one of my favorite things to do is go out there and work together as a community and clean up one of our parks. So I'm not sure which parks they are this time, but wherever it is, I'll be there. Thank you very much if you come out. And finally, I also am going to close this meeting in the name of Joey Avila, who Councilmember Delgado gave a little bit of history of Joey. I've known Joey since he was 4. He was the only boy with a single mother, so he became a father figure very early in his life. For his sisters, he would, he'd get off middle school and have to walk to the elementary school to pick up his sisters to walk them home. When his daughter was born, he became a very involved parent. Her mother doesn't live here in this country, so he was a single father raising the little girl. And he's the first grandchild of 25. So you can imagine that he meant a lot to his family and his siblings and his grandparents. So it's a great loss for all of us, and especially his family. So I wish them some comfort and knowing all that he did do, all that he contributed to our country, being being overseas and being away from his family, doing so much in school. He just was going to enter his master's program. So it's a great tragedy to our community and especially to his family. So we'll just go ahead and adjourn tonight's meeting in the name of Joey Avila. Thank you. At 7:18 p.m.